Hello everyone, I think we're live. So welcome to this week's Talent Attraction channel. For those who have done it before, welcome back. For those who are new, thanks for coming along for this one. Housekeeping to start with. Hopefully I'm not too echoey because I'm not using a microphone this week, so hopefully people can hear me okay, thanks to some technical issues. So look, housekeeping stuff first. Anybody wants to ask a question? On the right-hand side, we have a lovely section. You can see it's over the chatter already. You can ask questions there, and please feel free to. Please ask questions on the right-hand side, not on the bit further down, because I forget to look out for that one. So it's always better on the right side, right side over there. If you're talking about it on Twitter, then it's hashtag TAChannel. But very importantly, we're also talking about RECFEST this week because it's the RECFEST. So the hashtag for RECFEST is RECFEST Revolution. Is that right, Jamie? RECFEST Revolution. Oh. Sound.
Yes, yes, yes.
Thanks, Jamie. So this week I wanted to celebrate RECFEST, which is pretty much damn near the biggest recruitment event now. Not quite to the scale of HR Tech yet, but for pure recruiters, this is as big as it gets at the moment, and it keeps getting bigger each year. So I wanted to have a little bit of a special on it, and you'll have to bear with us all as we switch from guest to guest, because what we're going to do, as well as introducing Jamie shortly to talk around the event this week, we've also got 5 of his speakers on to talk about. Give us a little teaser as to what they're going to be talking about, basically. So we're going to have a lot of fun. A little intro as well. Candidate ID support this webinar as well. So a quick hello to Candidate ID. You'll get a chance to hear a little bit more about Candidate ID. Adam Gordon, who owns Candidate ID, is on the call later. So look, without further ado, let me introduce you to Jamie. Well, let Jamie introduce himself, because RECFEST is all Jamie's doing. Give us, for those who have not known about it before, Jamie, give us a little bit of a potted history of RECFEST and why we've come to what we have this week, with 782 people signing up to come to one place on one day, or to listen to these fabulous people.
Hold on.
Whoa.
What happened now?
You're okay, go with it. It's okay.
Yeah, is that okay? So I suppose the first thing is just to correct you, and it's definitely Lois' thing as well, because she will kill you if you say it was just my thing. That's weird. There you go. That's better. Can you hear me?
Yes, that's much better.
Okay, cool. Yeah, RECFEST kind of stemmed very much from my hatred of all things conferences in our industry. Conferences used to be quite crap, and still are for the most part. I think, when you think back maybe 6 years ago, you had beige walls, terrible speakers who were just continuously regurgitated the same content time after time again. It was 300 people looking at one person and being spoke to, and actually there wasn't much more than that. They all looked the same, they all felt the same. It was all very similar, and we just wanted to do something different, I suppose, and that's where we started from 4 years ago. So 4 years ago we put nice, I like that. We started we wanted something different. We wanted something that was pure in-house as well. I think a lot of conferences you go to are everyone and anyone. It's RPOs, ad agencies, retcons. And I think that sometimes puts off a lot of in-house guys. I think, the likes of us and the firm and the in-house recruitment network have done a really good job over the last sort of 5 years or so of building these exclusive events just for in-house guys, and made it okay for these guys to come out and be a part of them. We started 4 years ago. We put 100 people into a room. It was a lot of hard work. We fought for every single person that we finally got through. Year 2, we did it on a battleship in the Thames, which was the day of the tube strike. This is huge tube strike. And, we still got 200 people, which was great. Last year, first outdoor event, Borough Market, 420 people. And then this year's just been, I mentioned it on Facebook the other day, it's like pushing a boulder up a hill. And you push and push and push, and eventually you get to a tipping point and it runs away. And this year's very much been that runaway moment. We could have sold this 2 times over if we'd have put the legwork into it. I think ultimately people are looking for something different, and I think RECFEST gives that. I think there's a brand association there, which people seem to enjoy, and it's a journey, and that's the other part. RECFEST is a journey. All events should be a journey. You should have a starting point and a finish point, and the person you are, not dramatically, but you should change during that process. I think a lot of event organizers don't really get that fact, and RECFEST very much is that. It's good for networking. It's great to learn. This year we've probably been accused in the past of being, maybe in the first years, more substance over more style over substance. To a certain extent. This year we've really focused on the speaker lineup, and I'd argue we've got the best speaker lineup this year at any event. It's incredible. The diversity of the speakers, the content, the effort that these guys are putting into it as well. No one's phoning this one in. Everyone is bringing their absolute A game, which is fantastic. And it's just going to be a good day. Yeah,
and I think, and then the style over substance thing. Look, I mean, I think if people are being like over critical about it, if you give somebody an option to try and find something negative to say about it, I guess that would be a thing. But I would say events you need a memorable experience out of events. I think that's the one thing that those recruitment events you talk about lack, is that they are unmemorable events. The ones you can't really remember. You kind of have that thing of like, remember seeing somebody on a stage somewhere at some event, like say with Grey Walls and all that kind of stuff. It puts a landmark. All those little quirkiness of the boat and the market and all that. They do create a bit of a memorable factor, which I think is another thing that event organisers should absolutely be striving for.
Yeah, I think we. Someone said a few years ago, if you was dropped into 90% of the events in our market blindfolded, took the blindfold off, you wouldn't really know where you were. With RECFEST, you absolutely know where you are. That blindfold comes off and you understand you are at RECFEST. There is no two ways about it. And that's what we wanted to create, just a very unique experience, a very unique look and feel, unique surroundings. And I think we've got that. I mean, Hawker House this year is an insane venue. Even if you're not coming to the event, just go and Google Hawker House and look at some of the parties. And Facebook was there like 6 weeks ago doing an event. It's insane. So yeah, really looking forward to that.
It looks amazing. We're going to have some fun. We're going to have some fun and learn a heck of a lot. We're going to have some fun as well, because that's kind of important too. So before we introduce our guests, what made you choose? Because you've got like you've got three tranches of content this year. What made you choose those?
I think so. We wanted to do something completely separate for the tech market. So having hosted probably 8 events this year around technical hire, it's a market all to itself. They operate differently. The talent operates differently. The way you recruit is completely different, and therefore the content they want to listen to is unique as well. So we wanted to offer something for those guys, and then really for the disrupt stage, it was just about people doing something really, really far out there. Who's doing something very, very different that might not be on the roadmap for 2018, it might be 2020. And that's very much what the disrupt stage is all about. And, also you've got to find somewhere for Bill to just without question, Bill Borman needs to speak at events. So, we're doing it for Bill as well.
Somewhere to fit a hat. His hat at the event last week, Stephen O'Donnell's event, there was a Mexican hat came out that, so they could have a Mexican hat on Thursday.
I'm only hoping.
Stephen, talking to Stephen, I think he says why you're getting an echo on your mic, because on his pods he's picking up the sound from the earbud and getting feedback, and I don't know what really that means. So Jeremy called him a geek, which is there. Cool. Well, look, let's move on to esteemed guests, because we've got 5 to get through in the next kind of 40 minutes, 35 minutes or so. So let's start with the one that we can see on the screen. Ben, I know you're there on the screen, but you look like something out of Space Invaders in the 1980s. So on my screen, so I'll pass for a minute on Greg. But let's go ladies first, because it's absolutely the right way. So in the bottom, in my bottom left-hand corner, but probably not in yours, is Charu Malhotra from Ferrero. So Charu, would you like to give us a little introduction as to who you are, what you do, and also what we should expect, what you're going to be talking about on Thursday, and what we should expect from that?
Yeah, of course. Hi everybody, it's Charu, as Steve said, and currently working at Ferrero, heading up employer branding and recruitment capability and candidate attraction. So long title, but lots of fun activity to do. I'm really looking forward to RECFEST. I've never actually been before, which is remiss of me. So heard lots from friends that have gone and peers. And so I'm equally excited as experiencing it as a participant. The fun factor, I think, is going to be something that's going to be really amplified, just hearing about it, seeing all the content, all the noise on digital. And I think the lineup is exceptional. Can't wait to see people like Lars and Ruth and Crystal. It'll be amazing. In terms of what I'm talking about, I think it's, for me, when I started talking to Jamie about what I'd like to talk about, I really kind of moved away from, okay, what's my day-to-day job, employer branding, recruitment capability, digital. Those are things that I'm clearly very passionate about and interested in. But actually, I'm not going to talk about that, because the common red thread for me through my whole career has been around how do people feel like they belong? Why is it really important that you join a business that the values that the business has and you have are aligned? Why do you become a happier person or more engaged person? Because we've all been in environments that just don't fit. So I'm talking about why I think diversity programs simply as a program in HR don't work, and there's data to prove that. So I'll be putting a bit of that data out. But I want to spend 20, 25 minutes, or however long I've got, I think it's 20 minutes, talking about really what does belonging and being inclusive mean from a cultural perspective, sharing some kind of personal stories, because I think it's important that it's not seen as an HR program. But for me, it's not about Ferrero or any other business. That's not the key. It's if we can get people to feel like they belong, and they feel like they can then bring their best selves to work. Data tells us this, but humanity and empathy, it's common sense. If you bring your true self to work, you're happier and more engaged and you're more productive. So I'm going to talk about that in a way that I think is going to be hopefully fun, interesting and engaging. And it's something that I hope comes across both in this conversation, but also on Thursday, that it's important to me.
You refer to it as, in your talk thing, as inclusivity versus diversity. So inclusivity is more important than diversity, or a better way of terming the discussion around diversity? Is that what you're saying?
I don't think it's about terming, and I'll talk to this on Thursday in more detail, but I think diversity lends itself to people feeling about otherness. The minute you start thinking diversity, it's other, it's making the difference known. And I think that's where some of the programs that are being led in big organizations, I was at BP 8.5 years ago and we had diversity top on the agenda there. So for me, it's about inclusivity, it's about belonging. And there was a wonderful article shared last week by the head of talent and comms from LinkedIn. And, it was just actually a beautiful article that talked about if you create a culture of belonging, that's what's going to amplify your success. And I couldn't agree with that more. So for me, I'm not saying diversity is not important. I just think a lot of research has told us, and I'll bring this to life on Thursday, that just focusing on diversity hasn't helped Facebook, hasn't helped Google, hasn't helped those big tech companies that talked about it ad nauseum for 8-9 years. But yeah, so for me, it's a personal story about belonging, and why I think it's sort of talking diversity in isolation is not going to help anybody.
That sounds good. Because I kind of always have a similar thought myself. So it's such a funny subject, diversity. In fact, one of these future shows looking at later in July is going to be around that subject, about what Earth culture and diversity and all that kind of stuff really means to everybody. So good. Thank you, Shara. Any questions from the guys on that, or no? Good. Right. Let's move on to Ben. Can you hear me, Ben?
I can. Can you hear me? See me?
So yeah, introduce yourself in your talk, that'd be great, and what that thing over your left-hand shoulder means.
Well, thanks to Mr. Leonard of the Jamie, he's put me on at the same time as international employer branding superstar Lars Schmidt. Thanks, Jamie. But as that says... And I'm going to be talking about something that often gets forgotten about. Dealing with your hiring managers. You can spend a lot on things like technology and ATS and employer branding, all these bits and pieces, but fundamentally, if you've got poor relationships with your hiring managers, it will all fall down.
and especially when it comes to tech hiring. So there's an absolute minefield of language, of different tones, other bits and pieces like that. And I've developed a little bit of a self-help model that's kind of created itself, really, since I've been working in recruitment, talent, whatever we call ourselves these days, which will enable you to build, some real trust, some real relationships, but more importantly, build rapport with your hiring managers through some real kind of strong communication, getting to know the market, because it is a really, really tough time in hiring tech. So if you haven't got the relationships with the hiring managers, it will all fall down. Plus, I've got a little bit of fun in there as well to make it a fun session.
Yeah, no, good stuff, mate. And I love the title, which ironically I mentioned this in a comment recently, because I think the recruitment industry as a whole always has a go at hiring managers, don't they? It's like it's
yeah.
It's a constant thing. It's always the hiring manager's fault. And I always think there's a bit of an emphasis on the way that we've got some.
Oh, that's bad feedback from someone. Ow.
Okay, so and we always blame hiring managers for everything. It's always a hiring manager's fault, but it's the relationship we set up with the hiring managers in the first instance, isn't it? It's like, and I always think the objective is to be their hero because of we deliver for them.
Yeah. Oh, we're getting that back from somewhere. Yeah, Lass, I mean, if you go on Twitter or LinkedIn, everybody talks about candidate experience, but when do people talk about hiring manager experience? So yeah, I was going to look a little bit at that too.
Good. I think I'm just going to do a little shifty. Sharu, I'm going to say goodbye to you and bring our next. So there's always a time lapse between one person coming on and one coming off. Can you hear me okay? that is. Can you hear me okay, Sharu? No, I think Sharu can't hear me now. Sharu? I'm just going to close Sharu off. Thank you for being on, Sharu. I'm going to move on to. See you later. Thank you. See you Thursday. I'm just going to bring. It was like Doctor Who. It was like. I'm going to try and get Chris on screen as well shortly. So you.
I just say people might find their way back from the loo when they go and see that. All right.
Try something else on my end because it might be my end a second. Hang on. I don't know where the echo's coming from. We're where you need Stephen O'Donnell on the right hand side giving us all. This is Plan B. Can everybody hear me? No.
Yeah.
Can you hear me? Right. Can I hear you? I can. And is that better? We're not echoing. Right. It might have been my laptop. All right. Good. Now look, I get this is Jen's. So this is latest in headset styling. So Ben, yeah, you is this stuff coming from user experience from your perspective of like how you treat hiring managers? I mean, what's your relationship like in that perspective, the hiring managers?
Yeah, massively. I mean, obviously Jay will know this because I've done quite a lot of speaking gigs for Jay. But everything I've got kind of two main things that I stick to. If I haven't done it, I don't talk about it. And secondly, I want people to go away from the event to be able to do it. So the little model, the little toolkit, we've got a little bit without giving too bit away around persona mapping, but for hiring managers too, which is quite cool. So yeah, these are things that people can actually take away and, well, not when they get back into office on Friday for the obvious reasons, but maybe Monday when they've recovered. These are things that people can actually do and they will see an ROI in their relationships with hiring managers.
Brilliant. Yeah, no, good stuff. I'm trying to get Chris on the screen, but it's not quite happening with Chris. So I'm going to just try Paul instead. Paul, are you ready? If I invite you on screen, I'm going to try Paul first then this time. Chris, just make sure you're on Chrome if you're not on. He's accepting connecting. So yeah, no, it'd be good to have you on. Yeah, so you're going to be considerably better than Lars then. We don't know who Lars is then, do we, Ben, really?
Yeah, no, I don't. Lars, American dude, employer branding, no idea.
No, it's all right. No contest, mate. In fact, you're on the wrong stage, frankly. It's, So, Paul, hello, mate. How are you? Good. So, thanks for waiting your turn diligently, and whilst we've been going through Doctor Who moments and all the rest of it, that was spooky. I don't want to be there. I don't want to be there again. It reminded me. Do you remember those days when Doctor Who theme tune used to come on back in there? We're all old enough. The three of us are old enough to remember the old Doctor Who theme tune with the one that used to kind of go woo. I used to get nightmares about that. But, so Paul, look, nice to see you, mate, and introduce yourself to those who don't know you and what you're going to talk about on Thursday, basically.
Well, firstly, Jamie, thanks for inviting me. So I'm managing partner of Carve Consulting. Hi, Jay. We're a social media agency, and we help companies get social, basically. And as you guys know, we've worked with recruiters and talent and HR for 10 years since we founded. And I'm really looking forward to Thursday. We're going to be talking about real-time recruiting. Understanding that these days, our people, our talent audiences have migrated to some of these extraordinary new real-time platforms. Think Snapchat, WhatsApp. Instagram stories added like 50 million people in the last 2 months. So we're going to look about the challenges and obviously the opportunities for companies to recruit in real time, because it's we all know, right, Jay, it's kind of scary for big companies to hand the mic over to people in situations just like this, because you don't know what they're going to say. But so we're going to look at the opportunities and how some really pioneering firms are doing some really cutting edge stuff, and how to actually go about doing that. How as a recruiting leader, as a recruiter, the day's all about sharing, right, Jamie? So we're going to really try and share and get some people sharing some ideas, and hopefully realize that it's possible, and the benefits of doing so. There's a big upside.
Yeah, and so yes, you're talking about things like the Snapchats and all that kind of stuff. Does that come into your kind of? Are you seeing much success with Snapchat?
Absolutely, because I think we live in an era, right, where with our Mr. Trump over in the US and Madame May here, we live in an era where people don't have much trust in organizations or indeed politicians. And one of the ways that companies can really cut through is to really present an unvarnished view of their people. And I think, when you give people the mic, you hand over Snapchat to say your grads or remember last year, Jamie, that lady who gave that incredibly powerful, moving experience. Yeah. You cannot fake that. And therefore in real-time environments, people buy it. It just feels so authentic. So that's what we're going to look at.
Yeah, no, I like it. I like it a lot. I think it's the future. I think it's one of those things that, ironically, I think hang on, where am I? I think 2 weeks time from on this show, we've got Carmen Collins from Cisco talking about their employer-generated content stuff, which is, of course, the most scary stuff for companies to do, isn't it? I think that's. I mean, is that an area you cover in this? Because that seems to be part of it, I guess, isn't it?
Absolutely. I mean, because fundamentally, Jamie, I think there's a lady from Jamie from Facebook there as well who's going to be talking about Facebook Live. I think all the networks are doubling down on real time. Yeah. And you can have the MD, and we all know, right, that just like Jamie, Zuckerberg's got a team of 12 people who maintain his personal brand, right? But for most of us, that's not possible. So handing over to employees and allowing them to create, authentic experiences to show real life. And it's really, about bringing life to that. So we're going to look at that, but we're also going to look at some of the more recruity stuff. Like, I think there's we all get probably tapped up on, a number of times on different platforms. And often today as a recruiter, as an in-house recruiter, it's not just about being at the right piece of content, at the right device, on the right platform. It's about the right time. I catch Jamie with the right moment, at the right time, at the right day, the right device, with the right message, with the right relationship. It's super powerful. So we're going to look at that too.
Like it a lot. I'm doing a conference at the moment for a company who do this for customers, for M&S and all these kind of companies, and it is unbelievable what they're doing with data and real and predictive understanding of when somebody is likely to next need to buy a jumper from M&S and all this kind of stuff. It's phenomenal. It's brilliant to be part of. They're absolutely stunning. So I love all that kind of stuff. I think it's absolutely brilliant. I think the interesting thing I'll find from watching your talk on Thursday is how that all weaves into those real-time social platforms as well, and how you make that impact happen. I think that would be one of the super cool things to.
Well, 100%, because also, I mean, we talk, Jay, and there's the guy from Anchor Housing is going to be talking about bots, right?
Yeah.
When we live in an always on connected world, and you're a recruiter and you're open for business, the social candidate, as we all know, right? They want to connect at their time, at their place. So it also feeds into, with your, people, with an AI strategy, how you can always be there for the conversation. I think it's going to be hopefully fun and
I will. No,
I think
you're the culprit, Jane.
yeah, guilty.
I'm going to shut up.
What is that question, Jamie? Go for it. Give it another go.
What am I supposed to be talking into?
Yeah, you should be talking to your thing there.
Really? Okay. All I was going to say was we've been fairly astute about who's talking about what, and it does all actually tie in together. So what we're hoping for when you come out of it is you're getting a completely joined up, okay, that speaker spoke about that then ties into this, and it really does tie into each other. So yeah, it should be good. I'm going to shut up now because I'm obviously creating the.
And you know what, that man there, Paul, is. I always remember going to the first True London that I went to many years back to 2009 or something or other, and Paul, they weren't really tracks in the same kind of way back in that time. They were kind of, you did a talk, and it was one of those ones that made me just go, I think this is going to be a cool industry, and I'm going to love doing this social recruiting thing that I'm kind of renowned for now. But it's so you've got a little bit of a thing there, Paul. It's you're to blame. Frankly, you're to blame for all this shit. So yeah, you and I think Craig Fisher from America was there at the same time, and you both. Yeah. It was really igniting. So yeah, good. I'm going to be there watching yours for sure, there, Paul. So look, thanks, Paul. That's great. Appreciate that. Now, Adam, can we hear you, and can you hear us, and vice versa?
Well, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Wonderful. And can you hear me twice?
Hang on for a while, Paul. You can always join in, because I think because I think Chris Ray's struggling to get on. I'm keep inviting him, and he keeps not responding. So it might be us four for the remaining kind of 10 minutes or so. So which is all fine. So Adam. So for those who don't know Adam, he's responsible for that green sign behind me, and responsible for getting me involved in what they do as well, Candidate ID, and all the awesome stuff that's involved in talent pipelining. But aside of all that, introduce yourself, Adam, and what are you going to be doing on Thursday? Because it isn't really a talk, is it? It's a bit more interesting than that.
No, it's a full-on show. So I can't wait. Incidentally, you were talking about RECFEST earlier, and it's my favorite. It's definitely my favorite event of the year, without a shadow of a doubt. It's the first thing in my diary at the beginning of the year. Yeah. So anyway, I'm hosting with Jane Redden, who's talent director at Balderton Capital, which is a tech VC firm that's invested in most of London's coolest tech startups. Jane and I are going to be hosting the Unmissable Talent Brand Hour featuring employer brand Blind Date. Snappy title, I know. Now, we're currently scheduled to be on the Disrupt stage. Scylla's joining us. Yep, absolutely.
Okay, good. It's important.
So we're supposed to be on the Disrupt stage at 10:50, but as Jamie probably won't admit yet, there's a lot of discussion happening in his business about where this is actually going to be taking place, because there's I've put together a petition not long ago, just like about 20 minutes ago, and I asked people. Well, in fact, basically, I asked people the question first time. Do you think that this should be on the main stage? And everybody, literally everybody I asked, said yes, that should be on the main stage. So, given Jamie ignored my research, I decided to do a petition, and I've asked 1 in 7 people going to RECFEST, and they've all said yes. They've all signed my petition. So if we remain Disrupt at 10:50 by this time tomorrow, then I'm doing a press release. I'm doing a press conference round about this time tomorrow. And I've invited everybody. Literally everybody's going to be there to find out more detail. But anyway, so Jane and I are going to be...
Sounds like you belong on the Disrupt stage.
I agree.
Disruptive bastard.
Exactly.
Stay on that stage. So,
carry on.
Yeah, we're going to be talking a bit about, so I'm going to be talking a bit about why employer brand only reaches 20% of the people you want to talk to. I'm going to be talking a bit about how you need to be nurturing people much, much earlier in the kind of talent funnel, and how you can go about doing that. Yeah. Jane's going to be talking a bit about how you really need to personalize, because an employer brand just doesn't, your one employer brand just does not appeal to absolutely everybody. So once you've got them used to the concept of working at your business, you need to start being a lot more specific and taking them down a much more personalized route. So there's some artificial intelligence type technology, some automated type technology that can help you to do that. And of course, we're including in there employer brand blind date, which actually, I really wish I'd called it employer brand deathmatch now. That would probably have been more exciting. But anyway, employer brand blind date. Effectively, we've got 5 employer brand specialists who are going to be behind the screen, and they get 90 seconds each to anonymously pitch their employer brand. And then the audience gets to decide by just a show of hands, which one would you want to work for? And we'll just see what happens. Some of them are big companies and some of them are small companies. They're all 5 are in different industries. So I'm really fascinated to find out how that works. Yeah.
Talking only, or they allowed to use pictures?
Just talking only. We thought about that actually. And but unfortunately we just thought the pictures would either be too obscure or they would completely give away who the employer is. Yeah. So we just thought voice only is going to be the best way of doing that. We tested a couple of different formats and voice only is the best one.
Cool. I like it.
Brand voice.
Yeah. So you can't say who these people are then. So I was about to ask you who these people are, but you can't, can you? You can't tell us who these people are.
Yeah, so the wonderful guests include, no, I can't.
Because that would give the game
they are, I've very nearly tagged them all on social media posts at various points, and then I realized, no, you can't tag them. You can't, this is totally anonymous. Yeah. So, no. But what I would say is, of the 5 people, I've heard 2 of them talking very recently. I've heard 3 of the 5 90-second pitches. I've heard 2 of them talking very recently, and they were both excellent. Yeah. So they're going to come back on stage after they're going to come on stage after Employer Brand Blind Date, and they're going to join us for a little bit of Q&A afterwards. So we will get a bit more time with them than just the 90 seconds each.
Fantastic. Nicely done. Nicely done. It's good. It's good. This is good, Jamie. It's all right, isn't it?
Yeah, we're excited.
Not a bad little event, is it? Not a bad little event. And, but Paul, by the way, just very important question in this whole situation here. What is that's hugging you?
Hugging me? This?
No, there was this big, you got a big brown thing behind you.
This is a soundproofed sofa. So we have a beautiful riverside office in Wapping, but it's like a converted warehouse. So can't do anything to the walls. So no one can hear me here. I could scream and no one would know that I was here. So
fantastic. That's all right. I thought it was an extension on this Doctor Who theme or something to have this kind of enveloping kind of monster.
You can see who's the professional. You're the only one with some branding behind your head. You know, Jamie, what's going on, bro? Come on, man.
Yeah. I've got branding behind my head because Adam.
Hold on. Here it comes. Watch. That's how you do it. That's how you do it. Go after people.
Nicely done, Bobby. Yeah, here we go. There you go. I'm borrowing Adam's. That's all. I'm borrowing Adam's behind me here. So as one of his representatives out there in the great big wide world. So it's it's not entirely my branding, but it's he looks after all these shows as our Adam. So from a point of view of that, so yes, it's good to have him actually on one for a change. So it's rather than sitting there watching on to the other side. So look, I mean, Jamie, this is really good stuff, isn't it?
Yeah, no, it's
a really good event, isn't it? It's going to be And we missed out on Chris, because I think Chris doesn't seem to want to attach to Chris. Jamie, do you want to give us a quick overview of what Chris is talking about? Because I reckon it's stuff that Paul and Adam would find quite interesting as well.
Yeah, I'm going to mute myself because I can hear myself, man.
Yeah. Right.
So Chris is doing, without giving the game away too much, Chris, we sort of stumbled across Chris about a year ago, and Chris was at one of our events and he was just there to participate, and he started talking and everyone was like, shit, this guy's really good. He really knows his stuff. And what he's doing is quite radical. When you hear what he's doing, including Instagram and chatbots and programmatic, it would be amazing if he was working for like Nokia, but he's working for Anchor Trust, which is in essence a care home. Yeah. So when you put it into context, you really start to understand what he's had to go through to make that change. And the journey they've been on from real traditional recruitment consultancies, regional press, to where they are now is an incredible journey. And considering the industry he works in, it's quite amazing. So yeah, not to put too much more pressure on Chris. It's a really good story. And there's going to be some, I think he's live. I think he's demoing the chatbot as well, which is quite cool.
Oh yeah, Paul. Yeah.
Does Chris have a beard? I'm just looking at our 4 beautiful faces, right? And clearly there's a.
Yeah.
Chris absolutely has a beard. Everyone speaking needs to have a beard, including the women that are speaking.
Jane Redden definitely does not have a beard.
I'm very thankful that Tora, who earlier didn't have a beard, frankly. I think we'll keep that to the men, shall we? I think that's a great introduction, and I think it is fascinating because I think sometimes it's things like, in speaker selection, these sort of things, sometimes the brands like the anchors and all that kind of stuff get utterly forgotten, and they're the harder stories, aren't they? Big brands are fantastic, and obviously you're always going to get big brand stories. We all do it. We all lean towards it, but to hear the real tough stories of the non-sexy brands. I love all that.
Yeah, and I think from our point of view, we wanted to headline someone that no one's really ever heard of, and that's not taking anything away from Chris. It's easy to go out and pick a lot of the people that generally do the kind of speaking bits, but this will be probably one of the first events Chris has ever spoke at. Yeah. So and it's an epic story.
Yeah, I like it. I like it a lot, and it's good. And using the modern technology, brilliant. Love a bit of that. Now, so Jamie, what else are we going to expect in these last kind of few minutes? What are we? A few tidbits of other people speaking and all that kind of stuff. What else is out there on Thursday that people are going to look forward to?
Again, I'm going to mute myself because I can hear myself and it's throwing all up. We've got some surprises as well that is kind of off the agenda at the moment. So we've got a candidate coming in talking about their journey, which is always interesting, but it's an incredible journey. It's like nothing you've ever heard before. We're honouring one person as well. We're doing a lifetime service award for one person. No one knows who that is yet, and that's going to be good because this person absolutely deserves recognition and to put them on stage in front of 780.
Thanks, really good of you to do that, mate. That's.
Is it Steve? I was just about to ask. Is it Steve?
I'm just going to give it to me.
All right.
It's just me. I'd like to thank me.
Yeah.
I'm amazing. Good night. We've got that. I think. Yeah, we've got an amazing speaking mix. There's something for everyone. Each stage is solid. There's no filler whatsoever. I think more than anything else, just from a delegate point of view, come with an open mind, come to learn and network as well. That's the other thing. We keep telling people, if you're sat on the same table as everyone, as your team for the whole day, you're not doing it right. Just be there to network, go and find other people, have conversations. We've got a really cool little app that we got given for free by the company because they wanted to use a guinea pig for people to connect at the event as well. So you put in what you're keen to talk about. They put in what they're keen to talk about, and it matches you up and arrange little meetings for you. So that should be really cool. So, we've got £20,000 to drink behind the bar as well. So don't do anything Friday.
Yeah, block out Friday.
Friday. Don't go into work Friday. You're going to be drunk.
I think I've got an 11 o'clock full call on Friday. I really have. Still too early.
That's never going to happen.
No chance. But it's going to be great. We're always thankful as ever for this, Jamie, because it's like, good events are tough to come by these days, and different events are even tougher to come by. And it's like, and it's good to have something with a little bit of variety that allows people like Adam to do public 38-degree petitions on on where he is on stage, and we've got a new one starting now, Ben Gledhill. It's kind of like watch Ben, not Lars. So it's good, but that's the fun of this. I think that's the characteristics of this kind of event is different. You know, they organise. It's much it's credit to you guys. It really is. It's a really awesome event. We'll tell you on Friday whether it was a really awesome event, of course. But
Adam, you're not going on the main stage. Don't ask.
What's that?
Can I just say, no, listen, it's really important for me to say, Jamie, the most reassuring thing that you've just said, given obviously it's still, a bit up in the air as to which stage we're going to be on, it's really reassuring to me that you said each stage is solid. I've actually written that down, and I'm pretty happy about that.
So I'm glad.
Good. Well, look, brilliant. Time is up. Thanks, guys. Thanks for introducing yourselves, and we're looking forward to. I'll see all of you over a shandy on Thursday, or a soft drink, or something not less soft. Still staggering around at whatever time it closes. When does it close?
It closes at like 10, but there's a pub around the corner that's open as well, so we're not going anywhere.
It was an important question I had to ask because in relation to the content of the day, it was good to know. Good to know. Thanks, guys. Well, look, Jamie, well done, buddy. Thanks, mate. Really
guys, thanks a lot.
Those watching who next week have got Lars on stage. Lars is on this, would you believe? We've been just mocking Lars all day, and we're not mocking him, but got an All-American, and we're discussing the future of employee brand with Lars Schmidt and Stacey Zapar. So on next, and that's Tuesday rather than Monday. For those who always see this on a Monday, it's on Tuesday next week. So just to really screw up you. So thanks everybody. Have a great week. See you all on Thursday.
Bye.
Okay.
Bye, Jamie.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, guys.